guys, I'm Thatbakerlady, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a rainbow leprechaun hat for St. Patrick's Day. So I have a 7-inch board. I have a few different layers of vanilla cake that I dyed rainbow colors, and those are 5-inch. I have some sprinkles. Just kind of threw different ones together. Have a little cup, and you'll see what we're going to use that for later. A knife, cake scraper, some black and yellow fondant, wax paper for our fondant. I have two piping bags of green frosting. That's what we're going to use to frost the cake itself. And I have some extra frosting for the filling, and I didn't clean the pan, so it's kind of a little green tint to it, which is fine. So we're gonna start out by filling our cake. I'm gonna do the yellow on the bottom. And then you want to put just a small layer of filling, because we are going to have 4 layers of filling. We don't want to use it all too fast, but with our cup we're going to use it as a little cutter and take out the middle of this cake, just like that. Okay, so now we have a little hole right there. And then kind of squeeze it to get that cake out. So we're going to do that with each layer so that it could be filled with our sprinkles. Okay. So I put sprinkles just to fill that hole. I'm going to go ahead and start my filling around that little gap we made. So just like that. So let's get our next layer, and I think I'll do pink. I have yellow, pink, orange, purple, and blue. So I'm going to do my pink next. What I want to do is go ahead and poke my hole first before I put it on this layer, the bottom yellow layer, because it'll just smash if I try to put my hole in while it's stacked already. Alright, so here is my pink. You want to try to get that hole as centered as possible, so that they line up and it's kind of not curving, which I guess will work too. Okay, so go ahead and add some more sprinkles. Put on another layer of my filling. Where's my cup? Take that cake out. Alright, so let's hope these all line up. Here's my orange. So far, looks pretty good. Fill it with some more sprinkles. Alright. Now which one should we do next? Let's do purple, and then we'll have our blue on top. The blue one we're not going to take a hole out of, just so that there's not a hole on top of the cake. And it'll seal in all of those nice sprinkles we're adding. Clean my cup. So I wasn't able to find any cutters that I liked about this size. Here's my purple. That weren't bunch of money just for one. So I had to kind of think outside the box here and get these little cups, and I think they work perfectly. They're doing the job. Okay, so here is our last layer of filling. And we're just gonna put this blue one right on top to seal all those sprinkles in. Try to make sure my cake is straight before I start frosting it. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so put all this to the side. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is frost the cake itself now. Trying to get all these little crumbs, my mess out of the way. All right, let's start. I'm gonna start at the bottom and do one full layer at a time. Now this helps you get an even amount of frosting throughout the whole cake. Doing it like this, but if you don't want to use the piping bags, if it's difficult for you, you can go ahead and just use a knife or a spatula. All right, so just continue here. And when I bake the cake itself, I just got my vanilla batter. I divided it into 5 pans or 5 bowls and dyed each one and baked them separately. So they weren't baked together. If you do bake them together and you want to layer them, it'll be more of a marble effect, which would be pretty cool. I never thought about doing it like that. Okay, so you do want to have some frosting left over. But let's get started here. Take your scraper. You want your scraper to be flat. So these are the ones that I offer in the kits, and if you're watching this and you have the kit, this is the one you have. So I'm gonna try to use this one. This is the same thing, it just doesn't have the handle part, which I feel is easier for the kiddos if you have the kits. So I'm gonna try to use this one. Just have like a napkin or a bowl next to you where you can put this frosting in case you do need some extra. I like how tall this cake is looking. I think it's gonna be really good with this hat. Okay, so I do have some little gaps and I want to fill those little gaps in. I don't want to keep taking more frosting off to make it even. I want to fill the gaps in so that I'm not taking all my frosting off. So just go ahead and fill them in. They don't have to be smooth because we can go over it with our cake scraper. I usually do a trial run if I haven't done a cake with a similar design for these videos. This one I did not. I had 0 time, so let's hope it comes out the way I'm envisioning it. All right, just a little bit more. And then we can go ahead and smooth out this top because we are almost done with the frosting part. My top has a little bit of gaps too, so that's why I'm just smoothing out the sides to take some of that extra frosting and smooth out the gaps I have up here as well. Alright, so my gaps are filled, extra chunky, and we are going to go ahead and smooth all of that off with our cake scraper. This is the messiest part. some more napkins. Okay, so I just want to make sure that it's all completely smooth and it looks pretty good on the sides. Now I'll move to the top of the cake, making sure that it's level as well. We don't want a tipsy topsy hat. So I'm bringing each border in, making sure that it matches all the way around the cake. Really gotta get eye level with the cake to do this part. Alright. Still not too straight, but it's taking off all of my frosting. Alright, so that looks good now. I'm happy with that. We are not done with our frosting yet. So this is our hat. This is going to be the top of the hat. Right now we want to do the rim. So that's why we still have more frosting. I'm going to do one layer on the bottom, exactly how we were doing before. And I think that looks good. We can smooth that out with our knife. Or you can leave it if you'd like, but I want it to be less rounded. Right now my frosting looks round. So I'm not moving my knife at all, just my board. So there we go. We have an extra little layer. And I could smooth it out. It's not even, but I'm gonna leave it like that because I think it looks pretty cool. If you want to smooth it out because you don't like it, you can go ahead and get your cake scraper and scrape just right above that rim, and it'll smooth out the top just like we did the side right now. So I'm just gonna wipe my board up a little bit. There's not much of board left with this rim of the cake, but there we go so far. Now we're gonna start on our fondant. All right, so I moved the camera so that you can see this fondant part a little bit closer. I have some black and some yellow. I have a little bit of Crisco or shortening in the baggie. Now what I want to do first is roll this out, the black out. So I have some crumbs on this table. So I'm probably not going to need all of it. So I'm going to work with half right now. And all I'm doing right now is softening it, making sure that once I start rolling out, there's not going to be little cracks because it does start drying out. So I'm just making sure it's going to be nice and smooth for me right now. Okay, so let's start rolling this out. And again, this is going to be our belt for the hat. I'm gonna cut this in half again. So now I still have a big old chunk. So in case anyone messes up or my little brother or sister gets into it, just let them take it. Okay, so now I have two little strips like this. And I want to flatten them because again, it's gonna be the belt, so we don't want it to be so bulky. Okay, so I have my wax paper, and I'm just gonna kind of push that so that it flattens out. And you can see my little impressions from my hand, my fingers. That's totally fine because we can just turn it around and it's nice and smooth. So you want to make sure that this is not so chunky, and try to make it so that the width of it is pretty similar throughout the belt. And if you wanted to roll these out with a rolling pin, instead of doing this, you can. And I would say you can use your scraper to kind of cut and make sure it's completely straight. So if you use your knife, that's fine too, but the knife has these little teeth and you'll be able to see that. So if you'd like, I haven't been able to find any rolling pins for a reasonable price for these cake kits, so that is the only reason why I have not offered them. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, and let's see, this is about less than an inch, a little less than an inch, okay? So I'm gonna try to make my second one the same, and it looks like I'll probably just use about this much, so I'll have some left over from each each strip as well after I cover the cake, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a moment. So let's go ahead and do our other one. If you wanted to do this strip very long and just wrap it around the cake, you can. I find that to be kind of difficult if you haven't done it before, unless you have somebody kind of guiding you. So you can hold the belt itself and they will turn the cake so that you don't have to worry about your belt hitting a side of the cake where it shouldn't be touching at all. Making it a little on the chunky side again. Yeah, this one's a little. All right, so it's pretty similar, as straight as I can get it right now. So you can go ahead and use your, see, and it cuts it very easily, the cake scraper. And I'm just cutting the sides. I probably will be able to cut a little bit more. So we have our strips for the belt made. And again, I made two. If you want to make one, that's totally fine. If this is too difficult to even make this size, which may be the case, you can even cut this again as many times as you want and just put pieces at a time. So I'm going to add this to the top of our rim that we made with our extra frosting on the bottom. And I'm going to go from the middle. And then that's going right on top of our rim. Alright, so all I'm doing right now is trying to flatten it out. There it is so far. I'm gonna put my other piece on, and I knew it was gonna be too long, so let's cut it a little bit more. Okay, so you want to try to match them on each side, have them so you can't tell that they're separate pieces. Get some frosting. Okay. So there is my little belt. And we still are not done. We have a little bit of our yellow, and we're gonna have a little like a buckle for this belt. And again, I way too much fondant, but I like to pack you guys more fondant than you'll need, just in case mess up or drops on the floor. I drop a lot of fondant on the floor, so I'm constantly making extra. Okay, so if you want, you can do your buckle where your pieces meet so that you can kind of hide that little, I don't know, connection area for them. All right, and this can be as thin, as thick as you want. Let's see, where am I gonna put this? I think I'm gonna go right here. So we want it to be a square. So again, I just rolled it out. I'm gonna make a little square to see if I like the size. And I'll show you right now. And I think this might be too big. Make it a little smaller. I'm so excited to cut this cake and see all the sprinkles. Okay, so that looks good. Using my knife to cut it. Here's my little square, my little buckle. And you're just gonna add this directly onto the fondant, the black fondant. So I'm doing it a little bit above the black so that it's not covering too much of my green on the bottom. So just like that, this is our leprechaun hat. So I'm gonna take a couple pictures and then, okay, so we're gonna cut our cake now to see all those beautiful sprinkles inside. Hear them crunching in there. Okay. Okay, big reveal. So cool. So look at our layers. Sprinkles. Perfect for St. Patrick's Day, guys. I hope you have fun. Please send me a picture if you decide to do this cake on your own, or of course with our cake kits as well. I would love to see them. Thank you guys. Bye.